It's the Hell Fucking Yeah podcast.
Hey, what's going on?
How are you?
I'm great, Dave. How are you?
Good. Doing all right.
Great. So yeah, we've met at Woodstock 99, which
Yeah.
I don't expect you to remember that.
Well, I saw the picture.
You saw the picture, right? And we did a little interview once before, but this one, I'm really excited about this. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate your time. And
thank you for having me.
We love you. So if you have,
thanks.
you haven't met my wife yet. So this is Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
Nice to meet you.
Heard a lot about you.
Quiet because I'm like freaking out that I'm actually talking to you right now. No, serious. That's not a joke.
Oh, well, thank you. You're too kind. Are you in the same place right now?
You know, I was gonna tell you about that. Yes, she is like 30 feet away in the kitchen, in the dining room.
Okay.
I'm in my studio's in the garage. It's cold, but I made like a room in here, so I'm like a little warmer.
All right. Okay.
As I have a vest on.
Okay, I see.
But she's right over there.
Great. All right. Excellent.
At least a nice warm house while he freezes in the garage.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I do because I'm a gentleman.
There you go. It's what makes it work.
That's what makes it work.
Where in the are you on Long Island?
Long Island, yes.
Whereabouts?
We are in Lake Grove.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever heard of Lake Ronkonkoma. That's kind of popular out here.
Yeah, I've heard it.
Yeah.
Heard of it.
We're literally smack dab in the middle of the island.
Okay. Okay. I was there not last year, year before. We did a show at a venue on Long Island. And it was like wrestling shows were done there. It was like the stage was the lowest point.
Nassau Coliseum?
No, it was smaller than that. I don't know, the West something music fair or something?
Westbury.
Yeah.
Maybe?
Yeah, Westbury Music Fair, yeah.
Was it round?
It was round.
Yes. That's Westbury Music Fair, yeah.
Okay,
we saw Lewis Black there before the pandemic. Just recently, and Chelsea Handler, actually.
Oh, fun. All right.
Yeah, it's a great little place.
Shows, huh?
So yeah, I miss shows. I miss going out to especially the venues and things like that. But
yeah,
it's been a rough year.
Someday we'll be back. Yeah.
So Dave, welcome to the Hell Fucking Yeah podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way.
Thank you so much, and to you as well.
Thank you.
What'd you guys do?
Oh, we pandemic style. We made a little restaurant in our house.
Okay.
So there was no waiter. I was the waiter.
I make a little restaurant. He means we ate at the dining room table because
we
fancied it up. Why not?
We ate at the dining room table, but there was a candle, and we had some jazz in the background. So come on, give me something.
Lovely.
It was a little bit of a restaurant feel.
You classed it up.
Yeah.
You're always good at that, though. You're always knocking it out of the ballpark.
I try. As a matter of fact, the dining room table that we ate at is right there behind her.
It's like I'm there.
So how's 2021 going for you so far?
So far, it's a nightmare for everybody.
Yeah.
But it's I think we're getting into, I myself personally am pretty okay because I've stayed busy. And so, at the beginning of this thing, like a year ago, I was really worried. Because, half of what I do is, live performance or things around live performance or whatever. And then it became clearer and clearer that was going to go away. And then it did go away. And then it was like, actually, it's going to stay away. And that was really, really, really scary. So I got busier writing. And so thank God I've been busy enough not to, I'm not like not worried, but I'm less worried than I was a year ago. So I've got that. But I think everybody's a little bit at the end of the rope right now because we have turned the page and it was like, everything's going to be, whether you really believed it or not, on some level, you thought like, we're going to turn the page into a new year and things are going to be better. And, and there was a vaccine coming, and we turned the page and it's like, things might get better, but it's not going to be right away. And so there's like an emotional whiplash that comes with that I think everyone's feeling. So I think this right now is the hardest part of the whole thing mentally for everybody. And everyone's trying to put a good face on it, but it's like where everyone on some level or another is struggling.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a while before things are the way that we recognize.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
We're really feeling that here on the East Coast as well, because we've just gotten pummeled with snow, and it's been a couple of years since we've really had a lot of snow like this. And so it's gray every day, and you're stuck in the house, and you can't really connect with other humans and get that physical. So it's just, it feels like if you already suffered from seasonal affect, it's like 200 times worse this year because of the pandemic. So
yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, I really take for granted the fact that I live in LA, and it's, we've had a cold winter, but that's like 50s. And it's, I will say, I mean, it's, a 50-ish degree day is very cold here because houses aren't insulated in the same way. And so it gets in your bones in a different way. But it's, but we do have the outside that we can go and use all the time. And we have a backyard. And so we can have our pod over. And so we haven't hugged a friend in a year, but we can see them and we'll go to the park and throw a Frisbee around, and we'll do things that are, social. And thank God we can do that all year round. I will never take that for granted again.
Yeah. And I'm jealous that you're in LA, and it's just, I walk from the house to the garage and I'm hit with ice rain, and I'm just like, oh, I'm just over this already.
Yeah. That's no fun.
It's not. And now, so you're currently in LA, but you were born in Jersey, if that's correct.
I was, yeah.
And raised in St. Louis, Missouri.
Correct.
Do you think LA is your state? You're gonna stay there, or?
I have no idea. I really don't know. I don't know. I didn't expect to be here this long. I was in New York after college and until 2002-ish. I was in New York, and I loved that, but I needed a change. And I was like, let me, try my luck out in LA for a while and see what happens. And so I was like, it'll be like 3 to 5 years, and then, hopefully I'll move back. And I just never did. It's like, it's an easy lifestyle here. It's expensive, but it's, but it's the quality of life overall is nice. And, and I have a good group of friends. I fell immediately into, doing improv. I had like pre-MTV done a lot of improv, and then I put that sort of aside while I was there, just because I was always busy and traveling and all that. And then when I moved out to LA, I found a theater that I liked and started performing, and that's where all of my friend base basically comes from. And it's just like, it's a good group of young actors and writers, and I say young, we are not young anymore. But yeah, I fell into a nice group, and it's just like, it's a good life. But if the last year has taught us anything, it's that you can do what you do from anywhere that you want to be. So like, we're always a little bit talking about like, what if we did go somewhere where we could buy a house, and live like kind of well. But I don't know. I don't know. There's a trade-off there too. I like who I'm surrounded by, and I just, long story short, I don't know.
Yeah, well, you can't get everybody to move with you, right? So
that's exactly right.
And you have a community around you, then it would be hard to leave that. Yeah, definitely.
It would be, yeah. But I've never like, when I look out at the, if I'm like on a hike and I look out at the city, I don't have that same feeling that I did in New York of like, that's my city. Like, I still don't really, it's so vast that I feel like I know 20% of it. I don't feel like I'm an emotional connection to it, but I do have a good lifestyle, and I like the house that we are renting. Nice. So I'm not in a hurry to move, but we'll see what happens. Yeah.
By the way, I like your CBGB poster in the back there.
Thank you. Yeah. I had, so okay, these are all like acoustic. This used to be my boyfriend's studio, and then there's a guest house on the property that we took over, and now that's his studio. So this was all full of these like acoustical panels.
Yes.
And so I turned a couple of them, I'm rotating, into like a bulletin board thing where you stick, ticket stubs and race numbers and stuff like that. And not knowing that for, a year of my life, that would be the background of every meeting that I took and everything. And it looked so sloppy and I got so tired of it. So I moved those. I took the ones that were over there back here, took them off the hooks, put them on the ground so that they'd still be behind me when I'm talking. And then just found 3 things that hadn't been hung and put them behind me. This is some music that Ben wrote that was the theme of one of my podcasts. And I framed that. This is a gold record for Robbie Williams that I got, and I don't know why. And then this was, and I don't even know where we picked this up, but this is in fact a picture of CBGB, which I used to live not far from.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Very nice.
It'll do. It's less sloppy than it was before.
So you had a very interesting career. You started out on MTV, TRL, everyone knows VJ, followed by many shows on MTV, including Say What Karaoke, 120 Minutes, various appearances in film and television. Now you're the editor at large for Esquire, which is amazing.
I love it.
So I was going to ask you, being the editor, was that something you wanted, to achieve, or did the universe kind of deal you that card?
Well, I'm not the editor. There's like an editor in chief who is my boss, who is like the editor. What my title means is that I negotiated myself a cool sounding title because there was only so much money I was going to get. So I got this groovy sounding title, which just means like that I get to, I don't have to be in meetings in the office all day long and I can kind of do what I want. But I don't really 90% of the time do any like editing of anyone else's.
I gotcha.
But it came about because I was working on a TV show out here for FX, which was like their version of Dinner and a Movie. And it was a show that was like, it lasted for 10 years. And it was just one of those things that like once a month we would go in and do a month's worth of episodes, and we were in and out. And it was good. And it was work I was lucky to have, but it was so, coming off of doing so much live TV where it was like there were a million things to think about and like, people, producer in your ear and like all kinds of stuff to think about, that like at the end of every day I was like, I really felt like I had worked, like I'd given of myself and like done something that like I did it in a way that was unique to me and I felt like useful in that way. And I got, and I got a little spoiled in that way. And so then the TV that I was doing out here was, it was little 15-second like commercial bumper type of things where it was, we'll be right back with more Big Mama's House 2 after this or whatever. And it's sponsored by Revlon or whatever. And it was great. It was great work to have. I was lucky to have it, but I felt like anybody could do it. I felt like there was no specific reason why I was doing it. It was just, I got the job. And I, at the end of the day, I was like not fulfilled. So I started writing a bunch more, just for myself, just like on a Tumblr blog. And I found that made me happy. That really, like, I felt like I was expressing myself better that way. And so then I reached out to, over Twitter. Also at the time, Twitter was a place where you would just go and make jokes, and it was fun. And you could meet other people who had your same sense of humor or who liked the same things or whatever. It was like a force for good at the time. And an editor at Vulture, which is New York Magazine's entertainment website, I pitched him some ideas because I was like, I would love to, to write. And at the time I was like, I could actually really use the money. So I pitched some ideas and they brought me on, and I recapped the X Factor for a while. And it was, that was great because I had deadlines, I had, an editor. So I got used to, being like getting notes and having to revise and all that kind of thing. then that grew into a weekly column, which grew into like a book, and then the editor who had brought me on moved to Esquire. And so as I was writing the book, he was like, now he was like the site director for Esquire.com, and he was like, why don't you take your thing and move it over here? And I was like, I grew up reading that magazine. It shaped my sense of humor. It was like, I didn't even dare to believe that I would someday write there. But he brought me on, and that was like 2015. So I've just sort of been there ever since.
Wow.
And it's been great. And the last year has been even better. The person who was the site director has now been elevated to editor-in-chief, and so now he's in charge of the print and everything. And so he's got me busier than ever before. And it's so much fun, and I'm learning new stuff every day, and I really like it.
That's fantastic. And you conduct many interviews with Esquire.
I do. Yeah.
Not to put you on the spot, but what's your favorite one so far?
Well, I did one this morning. I don't think I can say who it is yet, but I'm profiling somebody for the summer issue, I think. Yeah. And I'm not allowed to say, but it was so great. And I could have talked to him all day long. I got to profile Huey Lewis, who I grew up loving, and who has, in the last few years, run into a health issue where he's lost his hearing. And
oh wow!
And so now he's up in his ranch in Montana, and he had recorded some music before all of that, and they released it, I guess, in 2019. Time has lost all meaning, but so I got to hang out with him, which was wild. And I'm learning how to do the celebrity profile thing, and I kind of got thrown in at the deep end recently. Michael, our editor-in-chief, called and was like, we got BTS for the cover and I want you to do it. And I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't know how to do that. I can't get to South Korea to be with them in person. I will fuck this up in some catastrophe of a way. And so no. And he was like, no, you really should. And I was texting with a friend as he was telling me about it. Damien Fahey, actually, another MTV VJ who's a close friend of mine. And he and I were texting about something else. And I was like, my editor wants me to profile BTS. I think that's a terrible idea. And he's like, Dave, if you don't do it, you're an idiot. Fucking say yes now and figure it out later. And I was like, yeah. So I did. And it was like the first cover I ever did. And it was super duper challenging, but I think, I enjoyed doing it and I'm happy with how it turned out. So.
Absolutely.
There's a lot of members in that band, right?
There are seven.
So your first interview really going with a celebrity, and it's not even one person. You have 7 people at once. Wow. 7 people over Zoom. Only one speaks English. The rest, it's through an interpreter. For me, our first interview, it was like at midnight, and for them, it was like 11 a.m. the next, it was, They were in the future.
11 a.m. Yeah, it was April 3rd for them. Yeah. But for me, it was like the middle of the night. And like all the things that I had to watch were like at 3 a.m. and you couldn't, there were only live things. And it was for a million reasons, it was challenging, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. So,
yeah. I actually read a little bit about it today. You tweeted about a segment of the BTS interview that didn't fit in the piece. But you wouldn't let it pass by.
Of course not.
So this is exactly what it said. It said, Dave, all right, guys, thank you for your time. Have a great day. RM, you look like Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, that was the last thing that was said before I took the tape off.
How did you feel about that?
Well, I mean, obviously I'm flattered. But it was okay. So for me, all right. I mean, there was a very short time to learn a whole lot. And as you said, there are 7 of them, and they've been at it for 7 or 8 years. And they've, and they crank out, 3 music videos a week. And it's like their like level of productivity is super crazy high. And so I was like immersed in their world. But the last thing that I did before talking to them, because like I didn't want to do the racist white guy thing of like calling one by another's name. I was like, I'm going to learn their faces and names, and I'm gonna like, so the last hour before speaking to them, I just watched their videos, and it was like a quiz. Like there's Jen, there's J-Hope, whatever, just like pointing out whatever. It's like, I'm not going to get this wrong. I'm not going to be the white guy who can't tell Korean guys apart. And it was, it was a lot to learn all at once, but I got it. And it's like, and their hair is different from video to video. So like all of the cues that you would use, it's like you just never,
Yeah.
So, so then we connected over Zoom, and like 4 of the 7 were in masks because we're in a pandemic. So I was like, well, okay, now I'm just going to hope for the best. And I was just absolutely like, I was so nervous I was going to call one by the wrong name, and it didn't happen, which I'm happy about. But then at the end, when he was like, you look like Hugh Jackman, I was like, you're a Korean guy who can't tell white guys apart. So now like I don't feel as
Bad.
Culturally
Yeah.
Insensitive as I might have if I had called RM Jin, for example.
Right.
But yeah, no, I absolutely don't. But it was too good not to include in some way. So now it's my Twitter header.
I wonder if it's the mustache.
There was no mustache yet. This was October, I want to say.
So now you're just trying to look like Hugh Jackman.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm it's something to aspire to.
So besides that interview, were there any that you were like extra nervous about? Like, I'm nervous all the time, but
sure. Same. Yeah.
Yeah. Were there any that were you were just like, oh man, I'm afraid to do this one?
Well, all of them on some level. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Huey Lewis, I mean, I idolize. And yeah, so like, and that was, back in a time when you could travel there. So I flew up and went to his ranch and all that. And it was like, I was worried I was going to freak out, not only because I don't want to freak out, but because I don't want to freak out in his house and have to make him take care of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I sort of held it together. And luckily everything had to be done in one day. So our photographer came in the middle of the day, and then it was like, okay, there's somebody else here. It's not as, but Huey could not have been more friendly. He was great. But yeah, no, always. The first one I did for Esquire was Kristen Ritter. And I had just never really I had never really done this kind of thing. And I didn't want to ask any of my bosses the really basic questions about how to do it. So I was like, well, I'm just going to go and figure it out as I go. And so worked out all right.
Yeah. Very good.
We do like a little radio show together on Fridays. And I'm always saying something that like incorrectly that I don't mean to say. So just like you were saying just now with the group, not wanting to get them confused. Has there been a time where you've made a mistake and then you go back and you listen to it later, or you're just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that?
You know what? I'm on air at Sirius XM. Also, I do Weekends on the Spectrum, which is like their adult alternative kind of station. And they just before everything shut down, they opened up these new studios in LA that have performance spaces. And if the world comes back to normal, they're going to be really great. But right now, they're just sitting empty.
Yeah.
But one of the concerts that they kicked it off with was the Avett Brothers. And so they're a big artist on the station that I work at. So they're like, and I'm the LA guy. I'm the one on-air person who's in LA. So they're like, why don't you host the event? And it was on live. And, again, I didn't want to mess up, because if I mess up and spiral, then it's all live. And that's, you don't get another shot at that. And I'm out of practice. So it's Seth and Scott Avett, right? And I did my research and blah, blah, blah. And the live thing starts, they do an acoustic version of a song. I go in and I'm like, hey, Scott, that was great. Tell us about how blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I'm Seth. So literally the first thing was me making the most basic error, like the dumbest possible error. But again, it was live. So we just had to kind of roll with it. I just look like a jerk in the moment, but that's the way it goes.
the other day when we were doing our show, we were live, and I said he was gesticulating, putting his hands all over in the air, and instead of saying gesticulating, I said he was gestating. So my husband is, housing a child.
A growing,
and I was just
a
like,
growing
what
boy.
a tooth. Like
It happens. It happens.
I mess
Don't
up all
worry.
the time. All the time.
Oh, sure. Same.
What's a dream interview for you to do? Dead or alive?
Oh,
Sorry,
dead or alive.
I know that's tough. I know.
Oh shit. I wish I had an opportunity to interview George Michael. I think he would have been really interesting. Well, I mean, obviously he was really interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he just had such a I mean, he's a genius, first of all. And then he reached a point where he was like, I don't want to be doing any of this anymore. And was sort of like a queer icon even before he was out. And then he was out, and that was, controversial in its own way. And yeah, I mean, I think he would have been a really interesting guy to spend a day with.
Absolutely. Yeah.
In the next life.
Definitely. So you recently were on the reboot of Reno 911.
Yeah.
Which was on Quibi. One of my all-time favorite shows. And you were even on the classic one on Comedy Central.
I was, yeah.
What was it? Leslie Frost, right? Was your character
Leslie
on the
Frost,
original one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Quibi went under.
But it will. I don't know whether the new season is going to be on Paramount Plus, the new.
Oh, okay. Another streaming service.
Yeah. The CBS All Access is becoming Paramount Plus or whatever. But yeah, so at least the old seasons will be on that. And I think the new ones too. Yeah, that was, so there have been 2 seasons of the Quibi reboot, and I played a different character in the first Quibi season. On the first day back, the whole cast was together for the first time in 12 years. Everyone was back in the uniform for the first time since whatever it was. Yeah, like 12 years previous, which was, everyone was so nervous. And of course it was a blast. Like all you do is just sit around and look like an asshole and try to make each other laugh.
Right. And
then I came back as Leslie and a few other people for this second Quibi season. And my last shoot, it was like, it was during the pandemic. So it was like a bubble up in Santa Clarita. We took over a hotel. Everything was shot on the grounds. And, you had to do the nasal swab test to get in and all that. And you were tested every day and everything. And it was very safe. Nobody tested positive, which is fantastic. But then I think I shot 3 or 4 days. My last scene, I wrap. They're like, that's a wrap on Dave, blah, 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 clap, clap. I leave. I go to check my phone, push notification, Quibi has closed its doors. So, and that was like the beginning of, a month-long shoot for them. But it had already been bought and paid for, and they shot everything that they were going to shoot. And now we wait for it to have a home. I don't know if that'll be Paramount Plus or what, but yeah, that is a show that is basically a sketch show anyway. So it works as a 7-minute show or a 22-minute show. So we'll see what happens.
I'm just bummed I didn't get to finish it, before it left. But if you're saying it's going to come back, I'm excited about that.
I think it will.
Hopefully.
I think it will. Yeah.
What are you watching?
Sit there.
Yeah, I hope not. What are you watching now? Like, what's your
watching now?
Netflix, Hulu, Apple, all of the above.
Okay. Well, it's Monday, and we're all the way in on this season of The Bachelor.
Yeah.
That is a thing that it's always been just like a dumb thing that's on Mondays. And then, sometimes it's like, it's Monday night. You're a little groggy from the weekend. You just don't want to be watching anything challenging.
Of course.
And so I've been like, it's been a thing that's been on for a long time in our household, but this season we're in, like, even Ben, my partner, who does not care for this kind of thing, is like, he's looking forward to tonight's episode. It's an explosive season.
Yeah.
So that, which I'm surprised by. Let's see. What's the last thing? Loved Normal People. Ted Lasso on Apple TV Plus.
Oh,
Yes.
we started
favorite thing
watching
I've
that
watched
one.
in ages. Oh, it's so good. And it's so nice. Like it's like there's sweetness to it. You know, everything in comedy for so long was about how shitty people can be to each other.
Right.
And that does not turn me on at all. But like, this is just, it's a bunch of people trying to be their best and kindest. And it's, I don't know, there's something really refreshing about that.
Jason Sudeikis is genius. He's so funny.
He's so great. And Brendan Hunt, who plays Coach Beard, is actually one of my improv circle out here. He and Jason met doing Comedy Sports in Chicago, and then they went and did Boom Chicago in Amsterdam. And so they've known each other forever. And Brendan was just kind of bumming around LA, writing plays and doing improv shows and stuff. And then, you know, they had meant to do Ted Lasso, I guess, a few years ago. And then Jason started having kids and kept having kids, and it just was never the time. And then a year and a half or so ago, it was like, oh, this is happening again.
Yeah.
Together we're going to the UK. So that makes me really, really happy.
That's great. So Jessica is a huge Bravo fan, actually.
Okay.
So what's your current go-to Bravo show?
You know, I don't really have one right now.
Not even Housewives of Salt Lake City.
No,
that one is crazy.
That's what I hear, and there's the least to get into because it's only in its second season, right?
First.
Brand new, yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I haven't done it. You know, I did a show for Bravo a couple years, 2018, I guess it was. That was like a panel show about Bravo shows.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't say that I was the biggest Bravo guy on the planet going into that, but I knew the producer, and I got the audition, and I brushed up, and it was like, you know, I learned enough to be able to make jokes about it. So, and then that show happened, and didn't get picked up, and they're kind of doing a version of it now, like Chat Room. Is a little bit like what we're doing
with the Bravo celebrities now. They've
with
got
the Bravo celebrities, of course. Yeah. But I am in the couple months that we worked on that show, I went so deep on every single show that when it didn't get picked up, I was like, Bravo, we need some space. We need some space.
Yeah.
And I haven't fully gotten back to it. But yeah, I hear Salt Lake City is really good. I hear Potomac is really good. That's, you know, someday.
It's crazy. I don't personally like the shows, but sometimes I get into them because she watches them. But that Salt Lake City one is.
You were so into Salt Lake City.
That one is okay. That one is insane.
What is it? What's insane about it?
Just the fact that it's a very Mormon city. And all of these trials and tribulations they have with the underlying current of the religion and what they're supposed to live up to, it's just very interesting. And then I don't know, Mike, if the point that really got you were so astounded.
Yeah. So one of the women on the show is married to her grandfather.
I don't understand.
Step-grandfather.
Yeah.
Step-grandfather.
Okay. Still, you know, it was.
Yeah, it's still weird.
Yeah. That one drew me in. I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe I'm a little nuts, but
okay. All right. Well, that's that's intriguing.
Yeah, exactly. Intriguing. That's the exact word.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
I can see that.
It's pretty crazy. I would definitely check it out.
All right.
All right. You're also part of the documentary Framing Britney Spears.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I apologize if you've been asked this so many times recently.
I really haven't.
Okay, good. So, but do you have any thoughts on the situation that didn't make it in the documentary?
You know, I had a few, and I wrote a piece about it for the LA Times last week. It went up over the weekend, and it's, you know, I don't know a ton more, you know, and I haven't. The reason I haven't talked about it is that, you know, I have gotten some requests and stuff, and I you know, I don't like to say no, but I have said no just because I really don't know. Like, I don't know what her mental state is. I don't know much about the Free Britney movement. I only know really what I saw, and what I saw was, you know, somebody who was super driven and really like a crazy hard worker, somebody who was like determined to make it and had such talent and charisma. And then I, kind of got, I was up close for like the performance and the public facing part of it. I never really got to know her as a person. And, but I did see the way that our culture kind of started to hack away at her almost from the start about, about her body and about her, whether she was a virgin and all that kind of thing that a boy never gets asked. And like, I'm encouraged now by how many people have watched that documentary and taken away from it. Like, women have to deal with so much extra shit. And it's, we can have those conversations now. We have words like the patriarchy now and misogyny now. And we had them then, but it's like they're in the lingo now. And so like, it's good. I think that people are, I like that younger people are watching this and looking at us and being like, you're terrible.
Exactly.
You're really terrible.
Yeah.
Cause we were, know? But I mean, like, I've stopped watching the Instagram videos and stuff. Like, there's so much, you can really spiral with those things into a crazy zone. And I don't want to,
Yeah. When was that documentary filmed?
That was filmed on a 105-degree day outside last September, October, something like that. I remember, like, I would have dressed up a little more, but it was like crazy hot.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy with the frame that they chose, because just my chest sweat situation was truly out of control. But yeah, it's one of those, like, I heard that it was a New York Times documentary. Like, I felt like I had a couple things that I would be able to add. And so I said yes. And now it's like everyone I've ever met in my entire life has seen it and texted me. So yeah. But I'm glad it's doing well.
Yeah, it is. It's very interesting.
Yeah,
scary
really
and crazy, but interesting.
It's really scary and crazy. And it's, all the bits with the paparazzi, it's like, you see the photos, but you don't think about like the terrifying situation that produces those photos. You just see, because everything that makes a magazine crops out the other photographers. So you just see the thing. You don't see the dozens of people like pressing in, which has got to just be unbelievably scary for an adult.
Yeah.
Anyone. That would be horrible. That would be one of my biggest fears in life, I think, would be to have that many people around me trying to get at me, trying to know me. Even for this meeting with you today, like, it's got to be so odd for you to be like, these people know things about me. Like, like, I don't know you from, a hole in the wall, but yet I know details about your life and things like that. I just can't imagine being on a stage where that was the case. And so for her to have to deal with that, for famous people to have to deal with that, is just insane to me.
And at the level that she had to deal with it, and at the time of her life when she had to deal with it,
right?
To have your, like, you're not, like, they say I think it's your frontal lobe that's not like fully put together until you're 25. So you're like, when you're that age, you make dumb decisions and whatever, because your brain doesn't work right yet, and like your whole identity is still coming together. And to have people, talking about your breasts on, late night TV or whatever.
Oh yeah, that was creepy. That was
so creepy. Yeah, I just can't imagine. Of course, like, what do you expect to happen other than somebody to, flip a little bit?
Yeah, that was actually one of the most eye-opening things about it for me, is that, these people of this stature, Britney Spears or Justin Bieber, or even like the boy bands back in the day, they're not treated like people. They're not treated like human beings anymore. They're looked at as like this, almost like this made up fictional thing.
Yeah.
In a way,
they're fictional characters that we're all responding to, but like behind it is a human being.
Yeah, we forget that they have feelings and want to live a life of their own too. And it's
or
really scary.
Or you think that like fame or money will like make it so that you don't get hurt, or like, what I would have to say wouldn't hurt that person because they're at a higher level than I am, and whatever. Right. It's like, no, that's so much money, still just a person.
Everything. How is what I'm going to say going to hurt them? Yeah, there's an expectation that they're supposed to give more of themselves And if the public doesn't think that they've had enough, they just go at it crazy.
Yeah. It's upsetting. And I hope things have changed, but probably not.
No, they're probably not. But I think that, it's they're more aware now. Justin Bieber's got that Lonely song, and he's kind of talks about that in a way. And now with this documentary, I think it's become more of a public, switch the public image a little bit of it.
Yeah. Although the number one song right now is Driver's License, about a 16-year-old, and it's, if you look online, it's like, oh, it's about this Disney Channel boy. And then he wrote a song about her and all that. And it's like, it's not, this person, even though they have the number one song, isn't like at a level of Britney Spears in 1999, but it's still kind of there.
It's still there.
Like, to the degree where I was looking at it and then I was like, I'm 49 years old and I'm reading about this, the personal lives of children in my own time. That's not healthy.
Well, no, it's part of your job, right?
I guess, sort of, but yeah.
So you actually have a podcast on Earwolf with Matt McConkey called Homophilia.
Who, by the way, is a writer on the Kenan Thompson sitcom that
no way
tomorrow night. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So everybody watch.
We got our DVR set for that one, I think. I always loved Kenan. He's very funny.
He's very funny.
He's been on SNL for what? How long now?
20 something years.
Crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
And he's great. He's super duper funny.
So now the podcast is getting close to 200 episodes. Going strong. How did it start? And if you wouldn't mind, telling the people what it's all about.
Yeah, well, it's called Homophilia for now, although we might be about to rebrand. There might be some announcements and some exciting changes coming in the coming weeks, maybe.
All right.
But yeah, it's so it came out of, and it's Matt McConkey and me, and it's us talking to just LGBT people who we like and who we're interested in and all that. Yeah. And it grew out of two different things. So Matt McConkey, the show Bitch Sesh. If you're a Bravo person, you must know Bitch Sesh. It's Casey Wilson and Danielle Schneider. And Matt is a frequent guest on that show because he's super into the Bravo universe and he's well known to that podcast audience. And so there was like a 1 month period where there were no new Bravo shows. Like it was in between seasons of every show. Yeah. And so they wanted to take a break. And he was like, I have an idea. And he did a show called Rock Bottom, where it was him talking to other gay men just about their lives and stuff. And I listened to it and I didn't know Matt at the time, but I loved the show. I was sort of working on an idea that was similar. And so toward the end of Rock Bottom, Matt was like, I kind of want to do this. And it was right around the time I was pitching Earwolf, my version of something different, but similar. And they were like, well, what if we set you guys up? So we went out to lunch and we started talking and we hit it off really well. And it grew. My thing, which is the same as Matt's thing, grew out of conversations I was having with my gay friends in adulthood, where and it's strange. We only started having these conversations in the last few years, but talking about like, the pop culture that spoke to us when we were kids and why, and like why certain songs and movies hit us. Like, I was a little boy in St. Louis and you were a little boy in Dublin, Ireland, but like we both had the same reaction to this thing and it led us to where we are and whatever. And also just like the experience of coming out itself and all of the weirdness and isolation and terror and excitement and all of everything that surrounds that, like, and the fact that you have to do it alone, everyone, is interesting, and it affects your adult life. It makes some people really artistic. It makes some people really practical. It makes some people really, want to make things beautiful. It makes some people not give a shit about that, whatever. But it's formative, and I find those conversations really interesting. So we were like, well, what if we just had them on mic? So we started doing that. Yeah, I guess almost 200 weeks ago or whatever. But yeah, it's fun. It's a highlight of my week. We did one this morning with Shea Coulee of RuPaul's Drag Race.
Oh wow.
Who's so great. And it's just fun. I'm always amazed by like how much commonality there is, and then also just how much individuality there is. It's a fun show.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's available on pretty much any platform, right? Apple.
That is wherever you get your podcasts. Yeah. Yeah.
Very cool.
Apple, Stitcher, whatever.
Yeah. We work on
Sirius XM.
It's on Sirius too?
It's on. Yeah. They have a podcast section.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's cool.
So, yeah.
It's cool. I miss Sirius. I got to get that back.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah. The regular radio just doesn't cut it.
Yeah. I think that's true.
So as Jess was saying before, we do our own little radio show. It's it's like internet radio. It is live, and then I release the podcast of it. But we play some music in between and stuff. But we just talk about little stupid things,
Yeah.
Just especially over this past year, being home pretty much she works from home. So being home like 24/7, and just like the little stupid things that we we do as a couple and things like that. And it's no politics or anything, just no,
I love it.
Just ridiculous things.
Sounds wholesome.
So it's fun. It's a lot of fun. Well, I'm not that wholesome, but she is. She's very.
Well,
You'd
swear and still be wholesome.
Yeah. We do. It's like good cop, bad cop. Sometimes it's funny.
Okay.
So I'd love you to hear an episode of it and just give me some feedback on it. Tell me what you think.
Absolutely.
That would be wonderful.
Sure.
So another thing you've done too, since 2003, you've co-hosted a live comedy game show, the Friday 40.
Yes.
With Walking Dead executive producer Scott Gimple. It's still going on, right?
It is. As a matter of fact, on the 26th, we're doing one online. The theater where we had been doing it before the shutdown is doing some really great live web shows. They've got it dialed in.
That's great.
And yeah, so we're doing one on, I guess it'll be 9 p.m. Eastern time on Friday, February 26th, with Roy Wood Jr., Karen Kilgareth, and musical guest Christian Lee Hudson. We're having our first musical guest, just because, like, why not?
Yeah.
We have to reimagine everything else, so we might as well, add that element to it. Also, it's kind of an exciting time because we used to have to wait for people to be in Los Angeles or only select,
right.
If somebody was away shooting something, it was like, oh, we can't get them. But now we can.
Yeah.
Now we're like, you got a webcam to talk into. We can talk to you anywhere in the world.
That's it.
But yeah, no, it's very fun. It's if you remember Remote Control, I know I'm dating myself with that, but there was a game show called Remote Control that Scott and I both loved. And it's got that kind of spirit to it, where it's like a game show, kind of, but mostly a sketch comedy show, and somebody wins, but who cares? And it's a lot of fun, and we get to pull in our friends from the comedy community who come in and play characters, and it's very silly. It's 40 questions about the events of the last 7 days while we all drink 40s of beer.
Oh wow,
gosh,
that's amazing. So where can we see it? You
can see it, I guess, dynastytypewriter.com. Dynastytypewriter.com. We'll have all of the details on how to get tickets and all that kind of thing.
Very cool.
And a game show and sketch comedy put together. I mean, especially in this day and age when you need a good laugh, and they're so uplifting anyway.
Yeah.
It's our time has finally arrived, perhaps.
You just needed a global pandemic to occur.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah.
The pandemic gave me this.
Yeah. Honestly, you have to take,
it's insane.
There's opportunity in all of this. You know, I mean, you're stuck at home, so you might as well use the time. You know?
Right.
It's
so I wanted to get into this book.
Oh,
Party of One, Dave Holmes.
Yes.
Party One, a memoir on 21 songs. I love this fucking book.
Thank you.
I really do. I listened to it because it would take me like 9 months it takes me a long time to like read.
Okay.
My wife, on the other hand, she can probably read it in an afternoon.
Yeah.
So I bought it for her for Valentine's Day. She hasn't read it yet, but I used to play it every night. While listening to it, during bed. And
Yeah.
Jess, tell them what happened.
So I would
Oh,
fall
boy.
asleep to your voice. So
Oh
not
my.
it wasn't the content. So it's
Okay.
not
Okay.
sleep. What you don't understand is that I religiously go to sleep at 9:30, and Mike is a
Uh-huh.
night owl. So he comes
Yeah.
into the room with me, and he'll play the book. And so I would get
I
like
love this.
halfway through each chapter. So I know
Uh-huh.
the beginning of like every chapter, but I don't know how
Oh
many of them.
boy. So many unanswered questions.
There's so
So
many
many.
questions. So I was so
I love it.
excited when he threw
Aw.
the book at me for Valentine's Day.
I love it. I love
Perfect.
it. Thank you for spending your time with it.
Absolutely. It's phenomenal.
Like, thank you very much. It's a really weird thing having something like really personal become an item in a store is really it's crazy. I'm thrilled that it's out there, and when people say that they have read it or enjoyed it, it's like I'm it's an investment of time,
Yep.
You're really asking a lot of people when you write a book, and there's a lot going on, and there are a lot of distractions, and there's there are a lot of different ways for people to spend their time. And so when people have said that they got that they picked it up at all, I'm thrilled. But if they got to the end of it, it's like I'm really honored.
I'm excited to get into it all the way and really get to hear
Okay.
the whole story.
Finish.
So that'll be,
Good.
great. The other piece
Good.
of this
Can't
is
wait.
you need to get your voice on, whether it's the Palm app or Hack.
Okay.
Just have that. Read one of those sleep stories and out like a baby.
Yeah. Oh, great. I'll do
True.
that. I'll absolutely
True.
do that. I'll call my agent today. Thank you for that.
Of course.
I'll take
thank
it.
you. Thank you. The book is heartfelt, obviously.
Thanks.
But it's very funny. You're a very, very funny guy. I really appreciate your sense of humor.
Thanks. There's a lot of serious stuff in it, and I wanted I think I've figured out that as a writer, what I do is try to trick people into thinking about serious things. It's my favorite thing in the world to make people laugh, but I think part of that is masking inner pain by making jokes. So if I can use that skill to make people think about heavy stuff without it sounding without putting the reader through agony, then that's a use of my what I can do.
Absolutely. And definitely shows.
Thanks. Thank you. I really appreciate that.
Of course. So now you did a little video for my wife for her birthday, which was obviously she loved it.
Good.
So now you do those, kind of videos, those cameo videos. I
do sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. What's it like doing those?
I'm honored. I didn't really, I just, I got an iPad finally. And so now I can start doing those again. But for whatever reason, the microphone on my phone does not get along with Cameo. So I would get a muffled sound, and I felt bad, and I don't want to I'm not in charge of, the person buys the thing, and I can't say refund them their money because this sounds like hell.
Right.
So I didn't, whatever. But yeah, I'm always honored to be asked, and at the same time, hoping that what I'm being asked to say isn't some sort of coded white supremacist message. You know what I mean? Because that could happen.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That I have heard of happening. Yeah. People, getting caught saying things that turn out to be.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's
so
insane.
I always want to be a little cautious. It was a thing that, someone I knew was doing, and he was like, you should do it. And I was like, okay. And it's, I'm honored, but I also don't want to, it feels strange to make money for saying hi to people. I don't know. I was never I don't know. I'm not.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that
for people I know, and I know you guys now, then, we'll just, we'll say hi. But yeah, charging for it feels strange.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to say
It's
too.
there, I'm on it.
It was very special that it was you, of course, but what was even more special was that for somebody that had only talked to Mike for, a little bit of time, for you for him to be able to convey how he felt about me to you, for you to be able to turn around and say something, I think that's what was most special about it,
Well, that's all Mike.
Yeah, but
Well, no, there's skill in it.
Your ability to glean that from a very short time with somebody is a really interesting talent.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. And I'm sorry about my dog.
No, it's okay. What kind of dog?
We love dogs.
He's a Wheaton Terrier. And he only barks when I'm recording. That's one of his, it's a trick we've taught him.
Yeah.
But no, he's great. Do you guys have one?
We did.
We did. We lost him this year.
Oh God, I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, we had a
this year?
Time. Yeah. Well, 2020.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Within the year.
So it was time, but
oh man.
But we had 15 and a half beautiful years with him. He was such a good boy.
Yeah. He was a beagle.
Yeah, that's the worst. Oh.
His name was D.O.G. D.O.G.
Oh, so, I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
It was a gift.
I like it.
He was a gift for her from graduating from college in literacy.
Oh, nice. Oh, I get it.
So adults never get it. Adults are like, oh, is that a region in Italy, or is that some sort of tribe? And I'm like, no, it's D-O-G. Little kids get it right away. They're like, your dog's name is Dog.
I love it. Yeah. Oh, that's sweet.
We miss him, but maybe one day we'll get another one. You
will. You will love again.
Yeah. This is one thing that I really wanted to talk to you about. The Bermuda toaster.
Yes. Oh, you got it. That's right.
We got it. Let's talk about this toaster.
Let's talk about it. Let's break it down. Let's break it down.
All right. So we got it. You sold it to us pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
You could be the spokesperson for Bermuda toaster.
Yes, I should.
Yeah, you should be. You should.
It's so great. My friend Matt calls it the Kubrick toaster because there's so much going on. There's drama. There's a narrative arc. For those who do not have the Bermuda toaster, you put in your bread. It's like a toaster oven. You put it in, you close the door. Or actually, before you close the door, there's a little slot and like a little 5 cc's of water. Yeah, like a thimble full of water. The toaster then steams the bread. Then the toasting process can begin. Right. Then it warms it. And then the final step is it browns that top. So you get a caramelized kind of outside, but the inside is very soft. It's the best toast I've ever had in my entire life. It's visually appealing. Mm-hmm. Everything about it I just love. It heats up leftover pizza. Yeah. Like nothing I've ever experienced before because of that water. It doesn't dry it out. I also Ben got me an air fryer for Christmas. So between the Bermuda and the air fryer, it is just a carbohydrate nightmare in our house. But everything is so good.
That's literally what we use: the toaster and the air fryer.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah,
so good. Oh God, there's a croissant loaf that you can get at Whole Foods.
Oh my God, yes.
We get it all the time.
We get it all the time. It's unbelievable.
Put a little peanut butter and banana up on there. You got yourself a good time.
Absolutely. Be honest with you, I haven't had much luck with reheating pizza. Really? I may be doing it wrong. But when we put it on the pan, because we don't want to drip have the cheese drip onto the bottom.
Yeah.
It could be the New York dough, or I have no idea. Bagels are amazing.
Bagels are incredible. That's what I have for breakfast.
Because usually we buy them, put them in the freezer, and then we just reheat them. Brings them back to life. It's like you bought them from the store.
That's exactly right. That's exactly what it does. Yeah, it revives the dead.
It's insanely small, and we were worried about that at first, but we seem to get it to work. It works.
It gives you all the space you need. It gives you all the space you need. And you know what? And if it doesn't fit, then you do it in 2 batches, and you learn some patience.
That's it.
It was what you had put up on your Instagram story saying, back in the day, they were afraid to give gay men the ability to get married, gay men and women the ability to get married, but because they, want to marry their toasters.
Yes.
And
Yes.
now want to marry your toaster. And I was like,
yes.
Okay, if somebody's going to marry the toaster, I have to look into it. So I started a deep dive into the Bermuda toaster. So
yeah, it's really something else. And it's actually like on the website, I think the actual product name is Bermuda the toaster. So it's like there's a cinematic ring to that name as well.
It's very dramatic. It's a very dramatic toaster.
It's
like you said
very
before,
dramatic.
Kubrickian, you know?
Yeah, it really is.
Definitely.
I love
Definitely.
it. You got me hungry again.
Yeah, I know. We're going to be using that thing soon again.
Yeah.
I use it all day. I don't even use the stove anymore. I don't even know how to use the stove.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Stove, the microwave, forget the microwave.
I'm the same way.
I use that toaster for everything.
Yes, same. There's nothing I can't do.
Yeah. So listen, this was fantastic.
You guys, I could talk to you all day.
I really want to thank you for doing this. And
my pleasure.
One thing I want to ask is there one piece of advice you can give to anyone trying to get into like the business, especially today with everything so overly saturated? You know, everyone has a podcast, everyone has a radio show. So yeah, is there one piece of advice you can give anyone?
You know, I mean, yeah, it is more saturated than ever, and there is no longer a barrier to entry. You know, if you have a couple little items, in fact, even if you don't have a couple little items, you can record into your laptop microphone pretty easily.
Yeah.
So everyone's trying it, but also like everyone's picking it up, and 90% of them are putting it back down because creating something worthwhile takes a lot of work, right? And it takes a lot of like dedication, and not everybody has that. So what I would say is a couple things. First of all, like really work at developing your audience, which is a thing that you can do, you know, via social media. You can kind of know who's listening and who wants to be a part of the community, and like, you know, use them, you know, learn what it is that they're liking, figure out how you can be better for them. And then also try to boil what it is that you do down to a sentence. Like create your mission statement.
Yeah.
Like what makes your thing different from all of the other things? Most people don't think in those terms, and you can tell. Like you listen to a lot of podcasts, and it's kind of just, hey, we're funny, and everyone will think we're funny, so we'll just talk, and that'll be that. And our idea is it's us talking, and you listen to it. But that's not enough. That's not enough. Right. So you gotta really think about like who you are as a personality, what your idea is, and why those things stand out, and drill it down to as few words as you can. And then just every time you're about to start something, and then every time you're about to hit publish on it, make sure you are like everything goes back to the mission statement.
Sure.
Or points you forward in some way. But I think it's important to know exactly who you are and what you bring to the table, you know?
Absolutely.
Because, you know, just like, I don't know, my friends think I'm funny is not, it's not enough. That's not going to work.
Very true.
But it's, you know, I love all of the, you know, it is a saturated marketplace, but it has been for a long time. And some of my favorite things are from people who I didn't know, who just had an idea and did it, you know, the Reed and Las Culturistas. And there's a woman named Renee Colvert who has a podcast called Can I Pet Your Dog? That's awesome. And, you know, I love hearing new voices and seeing new faces this way, but it's the people who I think do it best just really know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And are just like focused on doing this one specific thing to the best of their ability.
That's phenomenal advice. That really is.
Thanks. Finn seemed to like it.
He agreed as well.
Yeah.
So one more question I ask everybody.
Yeah.
On a scale from 1 to hell fucking yeah, how excited were you to be here today?
Oh my God, hell fucking yeah. +1.
Awesome.
Yeah, I love talking to you guys.
Well, thanks for letting me sit in. I really appreciate it.
Oh my God, yeah.
I really just think that you seem to be a really authentic, warm person, and it comes through in your work. And I think that that's rare to find. So thank you for doing what you're doing and bringing entertainment to us, especially in these times when we all need a little smile.
Oh man, thank you. That really means a lot. It really does.
That was beautiful, Jessica.
Thanks.
Dave, yes, I agree with everything she said. And thank you so much for taking the time out to do this with us. Really appreciate it.
Sure. It was a pleasure.
Right.
Take care of yourself. Stay safe.
Stay safe.
And
Stay
warm.
well. Yeah, I was going to say, stay warm.
Yeah. I'll try.
Bye-bye.
Hey, take care, y'all.
Take care, Dave. Thank you.